our favorite bearing.
Alright, we'll go for a quick drive. He has a phone holder in the car that actually fits the GoPro. So you'll be able to see me driving kinda, unless I look forward, maybe you only see a little bit of me. But if I look at the camera, you're gonna see me. So let's go drive this thing real quick. We've got to at least get the VSA code off the dash, because when you put it on the dyno, the front wheels aren't turning and the back ones are, so it throws the ABS light and the VSA light, but those go away pretty quick. And when I did drive the car earlier, it did feel a tad sluggish. I'm sure that would be explained by the numbers we saw on the dyno.
So this one is sitting already on the dyno. He has his own modifications. We're just going to kind of tweak the tune. It's fairly stock, intake and exhaust, but we're going to go over it, make sure it's happy, make sure there's no issues, get as much low down power as we can, make sure it's tuned efficiently. So we're going to let it warm up and do a run just the way it sits. He has a Flash Pro on it already, and I just looked and I think he's just put the Honda drop-in tune, because it's already dropped the VTEC. VTEC's at like 41. So we're going to let this come up to temperature. We want to get this, you know, about 180, and then we can tune consistently. We don't want it to be too hot or too cold, and we'll log it each time as it needs it. Are you ready? All right, go. Very rich for naturally aspirated, and VTEC is at 41. As you see, it hits 41 and makes a drop, goes back up. So VTEC might be better suited around 45. This might be fuel, you know, this drop over here. So that's kind of just our base. It didn't even hit 200. All right, so we're just going to upload one of our tunes right here. Based on what the car has. So I'm just going to see how close we are. It's not going to be exact, but we'll get an idea. It's going to be a lot better. It's a tune that I've already put together with similar mods, but every car requires additional tweaking. It's already got a Tanabe exhaust, it has a header and an intake, which I did show you. So it's got some good parts on it. Per horsepower on this one. I don't think I've seen a jump like that on NA in a long time. You see the VTEC change. My VTEC is at 45. It's pretty much a map I've used in the past. It's still pretty rich, which I don't get why. I typically run them, I mean, it comes to this, we're at like 11.8. Look at that, that's super rich. Well, typically I run them at about 12.5 to 12.8 on a hot day, but wow, that's a serious number. It's a serious gain right there, and a lot smoother. A lot of this jiggly line over here is gone. So I'm still going to do some more tuning. Can't just send him down the road with 2 runs and say, there you go. You know, he's not paying for the dyno run, he's paying for the service, but we want to give him as much service as we can. This little dip right there, I want to see what's going on here, see if we can make this pick up that power right there. Got Bruce here. Let me start this upload, then we'll see what Bruce is doing. I think I'm good with this. I'm trying to go for like the perfect air-fuel ratio. I don't know why, I'm just being a little bit obsessed with it. I'm going to frame the air-fuel ratio. What do you got? Ah, there's my lawnmower I wanted.
Oh, there you go.
There it is, finally came in.
People still make those?
Lawnmowers?
Oh, it's a
Grass is push growing.
It's a push with a catcher.
Really?
Then you have a motor on it.
Wow.
This is the manual.
How would you own one of those?
When you want to exercise when mowing the yard.
Is it just one?
Yeah, 6.
Really? Oh, when you put your hand up saying 6, I should have said no. What is that?
No idea.
Is it from China?
It says it's from New York. It's
from Wuhan.
That's not China.
It's Wuhan.
They better not be Wuhan.
Wuhan.
And you know, I'll edit that out because somebody will take offense for that. This is all clutch masters. Talking of which, we're going to be offering a different clutch soon. Where's that from?
Goodrich.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Goodrich.
Wow, you're not kidding me on 6 boxes. Alright, we've got Goodrich lines. We're going to show you those on upcoming video. This isn't just that I'm a fantastic tuner, because I'm not. I suck at tuning. If you don't believe me, ask anybody on YouTube. But this must have been a really crappy tune for us to get that kind of power. I mean, 30 horsepower and 21 foot-pounds. That's pretty spectacular. Still have this little bit of a belly right here. I can't really get that out. I did get our air-fuel ratio to be happy. I played with timing. It doesn't really want to do anything. It might be part of the header or the intake. It is a Skunk 2 header, which isn't the most ideal header for naturally aspirated, but we've got good power there. The car is going to feel fantastic. We're going to drive it on the street, just go over the trims, make sure it is where it needs to be, but all of this like funny business here, we got all that smoothed out. So this should be a blast. So let's get this off here, George, and you're going to have the job of driving it up and down the street and make sure it feels good, all right?
All right.
You know what you're doing?
I'll figure it out.
All right.
Gotta love VTEC. It sounds so good. Also got to make sure the car drives like a normal car. You don't want it to just have, you know, good full throttle and the rest be iffy or spongy. You want it to feel nice and crisp everywhere, so we got to drive them a little bit. We try not to, though. Yeah, it drives real nice and smooth. This is a real good example. This one makes more power than our car. We have a stock exhaust and a stock intake, but I think the intake doesn't really make much of a difference. So, no, this one does run really good though. Nice and smooth, plenty of power. Sounds great. The Tanabe exhaust isn't too overbearing. You hear the sound of the intake over it, which is nice.
So a couple of things we're going to go over in here and fix it. Bought one of our battery ties, but one of the rods is missing. I don't know if it's fallen off, but obviously it's not really holding the battery too well. We notice these clamps are backed off. Somebody must have been in the intake somewhere. He's got a bolt missing on the spark plug cover right here. We're not going to change them to our stainless ones because that's part of our signature. When we're in there, it's something we do. We do have some spare factory ones. We'll put a factory one back in there. Do we have any spares there, George? I think
No,
that last one I robbed out your drawer, didn't I?
Yeah, we had to put a spare set on it.
Is it falling down there? No, there's nothing down there. I don't know. We've got to do something because that battery, in the event of an accident, that battery would fly out and go airborne. Is that falling? Look at that. It's actually falling now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. You don't need that. It's actually... Alright, so we'll run that in for him. So he has the upper hose, but there's no lower hose.
Well,
this is the pain one, so he probably did do
looking
that.
at this, I don't know if this is the upper or lower hose or if it's on backwards. Because it shouldn't be kinked like this, and this little jog in it up here.
Yeah, it does look kind of odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe he's put the bottom one on it. Well, no, because that extra kink, that lower one has that second kink, and it has the dog leg in the bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just...
I'm saying could be what's back here.
Yes, which one is John's?
the red one.
Yeah.
The red one.
Red?
The red.
The red.
So it's almost like version 1, version 2, well, version 1, version 2, and version 3. So this is an AP1. This is a first version AP2 and a later version AP2. Nice. That's like if you're trying to decide if you should do a lip or no. You gotta do a lip.
Gotta do a lip.
Absolutely, that lip makes all the difference, doesn't it? You gotta do it. Also, rear wing. Should you do a wing? And the answer is yes. You do a wing. So this one is the one that got retainers and keepers. Is here for retainers and keepers. This is an AP1. So if you look around, you'll see everyone has their own opinion of which retainers that you should do. We typically do the AP2. I would always shoot for like 05 and up. If you're calling Honda, get 05 and up. Make sure you get the keepers, which Honda call a cotter. We call it a keeper, which there's 2 keepers per retainer. Obviously the 16 retainers. So I've heard different people talk about this, and I try not to go on what people say on the forums, because most of the time they've only got experience with 1 car, maybe 2. Over the years we've seen problems with the intake and exhaust, so it's not much more money just to buy the whole set. You're going through the same work of pulling all this apart to get to the retainers. Why not replace the whole set? It's not that much more money. You've already got it in pieces. So that's the way we offer it. We do the intake and exhaust, retainers and keepers. Of course, do a full valve adjustment, which is why this one is apart. We're going to get it all the way down to ambient temperature so that we can do an accurate valve adjustment. Let me show you this real quick. I'll let George do the honors and pop the hood. It's one of those little needs. When we see a need, we fulfill a need. Look at that. We had that lying around and George went, hey, you know what? That'll look good in that car. He cleaned the valve cover, put that in there. Some of our magic stainless Allen bolts, which if you buy our trio, we throw those in the box for you if you're buying stuff in our store. The alternator bolt is the other one. We're going to show them that. You fix the alternator bolt.
That's on the
Third one down, the one
Yeah.
that we tuned earlier. It's kind of hard to mix these up. Sometimes we give people back the wrong car. Sometimes you leave with a different car, and
What's funny is the 2 that come in today are both red cars, and they both don't have the big prop thing.
I noticed that too.
A little extra.
So we're looking at this. Obviously there was a drop of oil in the shop, and we're watching this drip drip drip, and we're looking around the motor trying to find the oil leak.
It looks like that pulley's leaking.
Yeah, and what we found out is if you look under here, see my finger? Right under here, it's wet under there. Well, he replaced that pulley, and we're noticing that's a different bolt. Well, that bolt is a certain length, so when it goes in, it stops. There is a piece behind that is threaded, and I think what's happened is that bolt just ran all the way through, and if you look back there, you see it's a little wet. That sucks, because I think he's ran the bolt in there and cracked the cover, so it's leaking out of that timing cover. All right, so this one is done, ready to go. We'll call the customer. We did axle spacers that he provided and a diff service. The bolt is back in there. We fixed the battery tie, which now the battery is not going to fly out. We're good to go. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next episode update on George's car. George, what is going on with your car? Nothing. So stay tuned for that. Nothing is going on.
There's a bunch of little things have happened. The last time I was in the shop working on it, I didn't pick up the camera once.
Lazy.
I just did it. Well, it's also something that I've never installed the brand of this before and didn't know how it was gonna go. So.
And it is tough sometimes when you get into your job. You have a hard time just remembering to stop and pick up the camera, which is something that we do a lot. Obviously you see me pick up the camera more because I'm like more conscious thinking about it, but when you get into the job, it's hard just to go, oh, let me stop tightening this bolt and then pick up the camera.
Yeah.
Which it does take more time than you anticipate. But we're gonna put George's car on the dyno, do a little bit more tweaking, up the boost a little bit, and kind of see what it's gonna do, and we'll go over the other upgrades. He has some upgrades. We'll kind of give you a once over. I did film a little bit of it, and we'll talk about it. We'll basically update you on his car, so stay tuned for that. George's Mugen Civic.
There's a handful of little things.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
There's quite a few things going on, so watch out for that. I think you'll enjoy it. But in the meantime, don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the like, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ring the bell. Get notified every time we put something up.
That's it. It'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget, enjoy your cars.